People injured here, 1v1, Green Tooth Gorge, blue side. It's Fredbrik as a Lord General, fights range combat, has a retinue to help him out, can add to it throughout the game. Really good defense and support capabilities, and up against is Flo as a Force Commander, very good offense, fights in melee combat, can also tank, disrupt and support with buffs. Classic Green Tooth Gorge, east is natural for Flo, west natural for Fredbrik, and the contested VP mid, and it's double guardsman into a sentinel for Fredbrik. So Flo most likely going for a devastator, but he might wait for his assault moves. I think he needs to be aggressive early on with his Force Commander, try and push Fredbrik's things back and just bully those guardsmen with Tactical Marine melee and his Force Commander. Get the Iron Halo up for this guy, and he's pretty damn difficult to force off for a motley bunch of guardsmen. Surely we're going to see Catechins from Fredbrik, might be able to get them to patrol this east side quite nicely, using their passive infiltration to maybe force a scout purchase of the sergeant, and otherwise just terrorize things up and down his side. But we shall see. Double scouts for Flo, mostly used to cap. I don't think we'll see weapon upgrades for them, not early on anyway. Maybe snipers if that sentinel's a pain in the ass. Decaps the east side, already a pain in the ass. Guardsmen and Lord General capping as well. The guardsmen over here caught by scouts and tactical marines, and these guys will push up and decap instead of capping the wreck point. Sentinel now taking shots at the Force Commander, who does finish the cap on mid. He's now going to try and pressure this guy. Crack-on bolts loaded and activated, but he doesn't chase. 20% more damage versus heavy infantry armor, which is what the Sentinel is, so it will take full damage from regular melee attacks such as this chainsword swinging. 486, 491, Lord General finishes the cap. On the east side it's going to be a 1-to-1 with the west side turning red. Yes, now it's a 2-to-1 for Flo. Sentinel being pushed back a little bit. Where's the guardsman support? These guys going west. In fact, both of them going west. Sentinel's alone, needs to back away and be careful. Force Commander's quite low, but he is pushing back Fredbrik here, who's pushing west, defending his power, getting his VP back, maybe pushing ahead to try and decap this one, which is fully mature this red point. 50% faster capping trait for those tactical marines, so useful in all game modes. It is an amazing trait to have. Now turning to put pressure on our guardsmen are high to repair. They both have the sergeants. No, one with the sergeant. A heavy weapon squad for Fredbrik and devastators for Flo. So a lot of flanks going to be going on if they're used in the middle. I think it's quite easy to flank them from the middle. You got all this space on the east side to come in. 466, 487. Sentinel pushing up with the cover of that suppression, knowing that the tactical marines are not going to want to run up on it here. Force Commander forced off though, and tactical marines were perhaps close to losing a model, so he wanted to get them out of there instead of trying to pick off a few more guardsmen. Not really worth it. These guys down to 5 models around this shot blocker up to try and decap this wreck point. Scouts back out, and they're keeping the pressure up on this western VP, aren't they? 466, 467, 2-to-1 I should say for Fredbrik, who loses one of his retinue members. Are they 25 to reinforce? Yes. Can reinforce them in the field though, which is pretty damn useful. Catechins on the way for Fredbrik, going to go through a bunch of changes for 2.3.1. They're not going to get a new model with their demolition man, and I think they start with one less mod as well. I'm not entirely sure. They do cost less, but they're going to bleed perhaps a lot more, so that's pretty bad for them. Guardsmen trying to shoot scouts behind that heavy cover, and here comes Flo to push through the mid aggressively with his Force Commander, and those Catechins are going to want to be careful. Don't want to get caught by those battlecry specials. Otherwise, they will be quite dangerous to this Force Commander in melee combat. Going to want to avoid that battlecry though. Goad it out of him. Devastators continue to edge forward, trying not to get caught, trying to set up. Those Catechins do have that long range disruption, and the smoke shell will also be very useful fighting those devastators. 464, 465. There's the suppression on the note. Guardsmen coming in to flank the devastators. Might try and force melee combat on them. Lord General coming out. No sign of... Oh, here he is. Medical Sergeant can distribute medical packs. Really useful for Catachans since they can get really low with a bunch of models and then you heal them all the way back up. They're like new. 464, 464. Flamer Tactical Marines with a power harass. I don't think they're going to get another generator though, because they're now suppressed by a heavy weapon squad. Force Commander's in a bit of trouble. He needs to be careful. He's going to lose him. 2-to-1 cap for red, and he does lose him. Was busy looking at his Devastators, I think, and trying to set them up again, but they were forced off themselves, and that's 250 wreck to get that Force Command back on the field, and I think he's going to wanna. Scouts, meanwhile, decapping fully matured wreck point over there, plus 30. Triple gens up for both players. Yes, he replaces the one he lost. Now the heavy weapon squad, who are patrolling this area, he's trying to keep them away from the mid, I think, because he knows that they're going to be pretty easy to flank there.
So the generator is online.
Patrolling this west side with them instead. Sentinel pushing up and decapping. Doesn't even have the ground pan upgrade, this guy, but he's doing well. Using him well so far is Fredbrik, and Flo goes tier 2 most likely for a Razorback, unless he wants Librarian up to support those Devastators, which might do a good job for him. We'll see. 445, 460. I think he wants a Razorback though, not just for the support it gives, but also to try and force a purchase of these heavy weapon squads so you can get rid of that suppression. 445, 451. Scouts, I should say Tactical Marines capping mid. Scouts are doing their thing. Those guys are going to push down the east side, maybe for a long flank. They're going to meet the Lord General though, and he's going to shoot him down. Does reasonable damage at range, this Lord General, especially versus regular infantry. 442, 449. Devastators though controlling this area, and there is that smoke grenade. Was it 50% less range damage, I believe, and some suppression resistance maybe? Funny to remember. Tactical Marines getting away with 2 models, very lucky to do so. He's surely going to lose one as they retreat away here. 430, 449, 2-to-1 for Flo and Fredbrik, with a nice counter push using that smoke as a platform, and they did not lose a model. Unbelievable. Down to 49 hit points with 2 models, and people complain about Catachans.
We're ready here, sir.
Down to 7, and a Razorback is on the way for Flo, so we'll see how Fredbrik responds in terms of his heavy weapon squad. Maybe he'll keep that heavy bolter and go for some stormtroopers, which might force a sergeant purchase on these scouts. 413, 449, trying to... Oh, they did cap that wreck point in fact. Force Commander gets stunned and needs to run away from this heavy bolter here. 408, 449. What's going on east? Guardsmen fighting against scouts. Not the most exciting fight. Now he's edging forward with these Devastators again and has got the advanced targeting. Here's an improvised explosive though, which could be nasty, especially to those Tactical Marines. Here's a Razorback though. Use it. Oh, he doesn't use it. He doesn't set off the explosive. That would have been pretty tasty on those Tactical Marines. He takes a model out though. They can now reinforce off this Razorback, and there's the All Reliable knocking him back. Gonna set it off on the scouts? Maybe no. Twin-link heavy bolter of that Razorback, putting the pressure on the Lord General and forces him off. He's now gonna try and use this thing to push forward. And what do we see? We see an autocannon on the way. Good damage to all targets. Small area of effect. Not quite as crazy damage-wise as the Chaos version, but they can get a refractor field and get some nice Imperial Guard buffs and things. You see the heavy weapon squad repairing the Sentinel there. Gonna go for a power harass. Has a sergeant up on his Tactical Marines. He might go for this harass here and then get some Stern Guard up. He would lose his flamer, of course, and he's going to set off that explosive, is he? No. Maybe he's waiting for the Devastators to try and take the garrison. Looks like they're set up here though, and quite happy to do so. Look at the work this autocannon is doing. Taken out, I think, 3 Tactical Marines already. They are reinforcing off the Razorback, but this is a lot of bleed for Flo to reinforce. Was that worth it? 365, 449. The improvised explosive went off and took out some scouts. Force Commander did get in amongst the heavy weapon squad. Now has the Artificer armor, just making him more durable and increasing his energy, which is pretty damn useful for the Force Commander, especially if he goes for the Iron Halo or Teleporter, of course. 339, 449. Devastator's happy to cover this approach rather than try and cover this power directly, and down it all goes. He absorbed losses, ouch, now he loses the sergeant. Goes tier 3, does Flow. He lost a lot of Marines, but he's putting the pressure on, he's piling the pressure on. What is this? It's Guardsmen fighting Scouts. The dullest fight in Dawn of War 2 history. Scouts versus Guardsmen with no upgrades. 321, 449. Force Commander keeping that pressure on. Look how much more durable this Artificer armor makes him. Our Catachan's waiting to force melee, no they're not. Force Commander runs away. 1061 hit points at level 2 with some good health regen. Razorback over on the east side cannot stop the cap, but does force off those Guardsmen now being repaired. Where is that autocannon? Back at base. Melter guns on the Lord General, going to give him that fight harder. Lowers the cooldown on weapons. I'm not sure if that actually affects the heavy weapon squad. I'm not sure if it has a cooldown in its firing pattern. Not all weapons do. Sometimes they just have a reload time or something. East side being capped by Scouts, having repaired that Razorback, which will probably float towards the mid once his stuff is back out onto the field. Tier 3 is Flow, and he almost has the red for Terminators. He's got a long way to go in his power and wreck though. Doesn't want to bleed too much more. Needs to be a bit more careful with his Tactical Marines. He really invested a lot in that power harass. I'm not sure if it was worth it because he lost his Sergeant and I think at least 3 Tactical Marines. It's a lot of wreck and a little bit of power there. But it kept Fredbrik in his base. Autocannon now doing work again. And the Sacred Standard is up for the Force Commander. This is being moved to tier 2. Gonna get an increased cost, but otherwise that is gonna be pretty damn cool for the Force Commander. Gonna be able to support really well with Battlecry, Chainsword, Storm Shield, and Sacred Standard all available in tier 2. 321, 425, or even his Power Sword, of course. Guardsmen with plasma guns and Commissar Lord, or Commissar I should say, buffed up fully to 12 models, will reinforce 3 at a time, and that Commissar is pretty good in combat himself. 321, 413. Lord General coming towards the mid, having sewn up that west side. We might see a big engagement here. Flow with a Predator tank, the safe choice on the way, and this could be really painful for Fredbrik. He's got no resources here. Does have 2 gens up. Devastators are set up already. Blobbed up a little bit here, so we might see a creeping barrage. That would allow him to push pretty nicely. You can catch those Tactical Marines and the Devastators in it. That improvised explosive is still there, incidentally. 306, 411. Just going to be, I think, a bit defensive until that Predator comes out and then push with it. Autocannon able to outrange the Devastators with the heavy bolter. 298, 411. Predator tank hits the field. Battle tank for Space Marines. Autocannon on top and heavy bolters on the side sponsors. You can get a twin linked las cannon, but I'm sure you'll keep the autocannon at least for now. Tactical Marines never did get their Stone Guard veterans up since they lost the Sergeant, I suppose. There is the creeping barrage. Does hit the Devastators. Tactical Marines forced off by pure DPS. He's got double plasma gun guardsmen now, both with commissars as well. 277, 411. And Fredbrik, are you going to cap mid? He's going to try. He's now spotted that Predator tank, gets another heavy weapon squad up. Is this going to be a las cannon? He's got a Razorback and a Predator tank to deal with. Smoke grenade does not help out. The Lord General goes down trying to decap there. 250, 411. Fredbrik really up against it now with this Predator tank. Just put under so much pressure from Flow. Whoa! Down goes the Predator tank. What the heck? How did he get it down? I have no idea. I completely missed how he took it out. Was it the improvised explosive? Surely not. 236, 411. Maybe he lost his Autocannon. Here it is. There's the autocannon. Maybe that took it out. But did he just sit there and lose it? 236, 410. Very strange. Should have been paying attention into it. He does lose the Razorback now to a las cannon shot. So that is a big, massive swing for Fredbrik. Good grief. 236, 403. Tactical Marines using their Annation on No Fear, giving them defensive buffs and allowing them to knock back with 50% of their melee attacks. It really is an awesome ability. They're going towards the east side now, trying to get a 2-for-1. But that was some heavy, heavy losses for Flo. Still have no idea how he lost his Predator tank. Did he really just sit there and lose it to the autocannon? Did that improvised explosive do anything? Not sure. Not sure. Lord General's back on his feet, that's for sure. 236, 384. Flo is getting a Land Raider Redeemer. We'll just put that thing mid and sit there, I suppose. Try and hold on to the 2-to-1 while harassing the west side with something. Looks like his force commander at the moment. The Secret Standard does not affect vehicles, if you were wondering. Only infantry troops, as it says. Lost all of his scouts as well. Tactical Marines still with that flamer at level 3 now. 222, 384. Fredbrik not going mid to cap. Devastator is trying to stop these guardsmen, these pesky guardsmen from decapping, but they can't do so. 209, 384. A double cap for Flo. But it's las cannon, heavy weapon squad trying to cap mid now. Everything's split quite a lot here. Look at the damage that Flamer's doing. These guardsmen are so blocked up. It's absolutely tearing through them. Almost leveled the Tactical Marines there. How many guardsmen did they kill? 187, 384. Power is all full, yes. Las Cannon is going to finish that cap for the heavy weapon squad. Catachan's level 2 on decapping duty. Something coming over here to get a 2-to-1 for Fredbrik. Probably these guardsmen once they've reinforced. 181, 384. Tactical Marines in retreat now. Melter guns, one of the weapons that are actually distributed to the Stormtrooper retinue members, the other being the grenade launchers. 181, 384. How harassed now from a las cannon. And why not? He might take down one generator with it. One more shot. And here is the Land Raider Redeemer. That las cannon is going to have a big, juicy new target. Did he see it? I'm not sure if he did. Fredbrik will get the 2-to-1, albeit perhaps not for long, because here's a Land Raider Redeemer. Basically a mobile base for Space Marines. Twin-linked assault cannon on the front. Those massive Flamestorm cannons on the sponsons. Multi-melter as well. And nothing's going to want to get close to it because of that frag assault. 181, 373. Devastator's now happy to just hold that east side, looks like. Heavy turret. Nope, Lehman Russ. So he's got a Lehman Russ and a las cannon. That Land Raider is going to be under some pressure here. Something's being called in. 181, 363. It's assault terminators on the field, and they're going to wipe that las cannon. They almost did. Assault terminators are a unique Terminator variant for the Force Commander. Only he can get these guys. They begin with Thunderhammer and Storm Shield. Tons of hit points and some really good heavy melee damage. Good versus all targets. Going after the Lehman Russ, getting some rear armor hits. And this is a victory for Flo. Surely Catachan's wiped out, thanks mainly to that amazing frag assault. The Terminators now need to teleport away. They cannot retreat. 178, 363. Is Fredbrik going to be able to just outcap him here? Lord General losing retinue, the entire retinue in fact, trying to take the VP but cannot. He doesn't decap it though. And this Lehman Russ, sorry, this Land Raider is taking shots here. Getting pretty low. Can't tie up a tank, Mr. Force Commander. 178, 363. Does he dare push his Terminators up? Looks like he is. He's going all in. Battlecry Force Commander doing his thing. Assault Terminator is trying to get close to that Lehman Russ. Uh-oh. Power Fist Force Commander out of nowhere with the Flesh over Steel. And this is the end of the Lehman Russ. Is it? No, it gets away. Just about. Trying to repair it. And it does, I think, get away. The Terminator might just chase it all the way through base, though. It's not going to get away, I don't think. Does he stop? What's he doing? He stopped. 178, 363. A base assault here by Flo. And an ill-advised one, I think. He's going to lose the Land Raider. Down it goes. Rush of blood to the head there from Flo. He might not even get this Lehman Russ, and he might lose his Terminators as well. Orbital on the base. 178, 363. Dodged by Fredbrik. And the Assault Terminators are going to go down here. You would think surely he's going to chase this last model. 13 hit points. Does he get away? The Lehman Russ did go down. That was crazy push from Flo. Going to get a 2-1, but he does lose his Terminators.
So we're losing a victory point
Yeah.
out there.
Got a bit too excited there. Force Commander level 5.
Near this position.
Going to try and hold mid. Only has Devastators and Tactical Marines again. Might get a triple cap though. Fredbrik coming over to the west side. And Fredbrik has a lot of red. Could drop a nuke, which could be vital in this game to stop a cap. These guys trying to force melee combat. Are they? No, just getting close enough to flame the crap out of these guardsmen. But those plasma guns are painful. The flame are pretty damn painful itself though. Those guys forced off. Down to 6 models. There's the remains of the Land Raider Redeemer. Force Commander now level 6. 125, 363 is keeping the pressure on to try and stop things from capping. There's the triple, and there's a rocket run on the Tactical Marines. Is that going to wipe them? You would think it will. Yes, it wipes out the Tactical Marines flow with another Predator tank on the way. And here's a Lehman Russ for Fredbrik. 103, 363. Force Commander. More than a match for the Lord General in melee combat, unfortunately for the Lord General. And will turn and try and cap. There's the double. 86, 363. Are these tanks going to have an impact on this game? Lehman Russ will beat the Predator 1v1, especially if that las cannon on the front of it can get shots in. Has a 35% passive damage reduction as well. Or damage resistance, I should say. Just to reflect the fact that Imperial Guard have awesome vehicles, I guess. And also synergizes very well with Guardsman Repair, the fact that it has that damage resistance. 47, 363, Lehman Russ hits the field, as does the Predator tank. Get an elite tank crew. Predator tank, he doesn't quite have the. No, he does. He could get a las cannon on top of it. He might do so when he sees the Lehman Russ to have a chance of taking it down. 40, 363. 1-1 cap. Fredbrik is still in this game. But here comes the Lehman Russ to bully this Predator tank, and those Devastators can't get a las cannon. Get some rear armor hits. Is it going to chase it down? Does not want to push because of this Force Commander's very dangerous Power Fist. It's already seen what that Flesh of Steel can do. Doesn't have his teleporter though, so does need to run up on the tank. 40, 353. Force Commander getting shot to pieces. Unable to cap the mid. It's a 2-1 for Fredbrik holding on here. Plasma cannon coming mid. Lehman Russ pushes up. Is it going to chase down the tank? The tank goes down. Predator tank. Bye. Scouts now for Flo. Just trying to get something on the field that can run around a cap, I think. Creeping barrage. Was that the Devastators that decapped mid? I think it was, yes. Plasma cannon gets a good shot in. But now it's going to be forced off, and Fredbrik is going to take mid, you would think. Maybe even send something out to the east side and get a triple. Doesn't have the forces on the field at the moment. These guys are a bit lagging behind. Power harass from the Lehman Russ. Looks like he's gone for the Vanquisher cannon on the front. You can tell because it's slightly longer than the default cannon. Looks like it is. And Lord General capping mid, 2-1 for Fredbrik. Can he hold on though? He's down to 40 VPs. Does have a bunker up. I assume this is a repair bunker, which is going to be a massive pain in the arse for Flow. Plasma cannon will get a nice shot on the Lehman Russ, will it? No. Misfires. Or rather, could not see the Lehman Russ anymore. Fredbrik, 2-1. Scouts though are decapping west side. And Flow needs to keep that up. Of course, one are going after the Lehman Russ. Is it a repair bunker? I'm not sure. Maybe, oh, it's a medical bunker. Look, you can see the health regen on the guardsman. That will allow them to reinforce around it. Smack. Gonna need some reinforcing now. Las cannon, not a whole lot the Las cannon can do. And the plasma cannon will be forced off by the Lehman Russ, taking shots. 34, 3-3-0, and off it goes. Does have the 2-1 though. Flow, Fredbrik's commander, coming now east side. Who can win this capping game? Flow needs to try and drag Fredbrik's units around instead of just butting his head against the wall mid. Much easier said than done though. Double Lehman Russ now for Fredbrik. That is painful. And Flow's crazy push into base is now looking more and more like the nail in the coffin. Gonna get a triple here, Fredbrik. Devastator's doing what they can. Level 4 Devastator Marines. But the Lehman Russ shooting the crap out of them. Plasma cannon again. Look at those plasma guns doing work for the guardsmen. Level 4 guardsmen with plasma guns. And that commissar doing some really good damage. Friendly fire from the plasma cannon as well. Triple cap for Fredbrik. And the second Lehman Russ on the way. What is Flow going for here? Is he going for Terminators? Another Land Raider? I'm not sure. He needs a bit more red to get some more Terminators on the field. 28-68. Las cannon just on capping duty here. And look at the map. Flow is so far behind now. There's no way back. Surely. He's just waiting for assault Terminators, I think, to try and get on the field and take out these Lehman Russes, but it's going to be difficult, to say the least. Lord General has the Commissar retinue member. I think that increases the damage of his entire retinue by 15% or something. Also gives him that refractor field. 28-18. It's a Land Raid Redeemer for Flow. Why? Against 2 Lehman Russes and a Las Cannon and a Melter Gun. Lord General, what is he doing? I suppose he had massive success with it before he walked it into base. Gonna take a while to get onto the field as well. 75-second build time, I think, for Land Raiders. Or is it even longer than that? Might be 90 seconds or something. 28-173. Of course, Commander doing what he can, but without a teleport is not a huge threat to those Lehman Russes, since they have the space to move back here. Plasma cannon, more friendly fire. Yes, the only thing it hit was the Force Commander there. This Land Raid is not going to be enough. Not going to be enough. He's got another head weapon squad. 2 Lehman Russes and a Las Cannon will make short work of a Land Raid Redeemer. Doesn't have the anti-vehicle to take on a tank usually. The Multi-Motor is very short on top. Devastator is trying to use cover, but they're being shot down. And Fredbrik's going to get another triple, I think. Flow just trying to hold on. Here's the Land Raid Redeemer, the last throw of his dice, I think. Maybe the Terminators were still on cooldown and he couldn't get them anymore. Couldn't get them yet. Gonna be a triple. Plasma Cannon getting shot to pieces. How many Devastator Marine models has he lost in this game? Maybe Flow is trying to get enough red for a nuke, maybe. But that would be pretty nasty here. Triple cap now though. Lehman Russ easily able to outshoot this Land Raid Redeemer. Flow fighting until the end, but he's been really up against it last 8 or so minutes. And look at the damage now to this Land Raider. 28-60, a double cap. Fredbrik is going to hold on here. frag assault, sending the Lord General flying. Yeah, down it goes. Flo says GG. Landred had no chance, and there's the concede from Flo. Was pretty much Fredbrik's game. Ever since that massive push into base, I think the Predators went down so easily as well. The Lehman Russes were awesome. These are good commanders. Lord General level 7 with some retinue members, also had melter guns and carapace, and the force commander, as we saw, power fist, artificer and sacred standard at level 7. Couldn't do a whole lot with the power fist, though, could he? Only got one Lehman Russ with the flesh over steel. The other ones just backed away from him. So there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.